What is going on, guys? Popsy back from the video for you guys, showing you my updated Mermail deck profile. Now, this is actually a pretty different Mermail deck than normal. This is actually a going second variant about Mermail. I've never been a fan of going second decks. I just feel like in a lot of the recent formats in the past year, going second just wasn't good because you had to face pendulum boards of multiple negates. You had to face Thunder Dragons just literally summoning Colossus, and anything else they did was just icing on the cake. You have to deal with Sky Strikers setting 4, what do I, 3, you know what I mean? Just doing what they do. And, I feel like now as the format has progressed, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Has progressed, I feel like going second decks are a lot better right now, especially in this current format. You got Nibiru, you got all these instant fusion targets, Mind Control, Kaijus, really, really good going second cards right now, especially with the fall of some decks not being as popular, especially the fall of combo decks not being as popular. So this is a going second deck. I played it at my locals, did not do well at my locals, but I definitely misplayed. I basically every game that I lost, I played into Nibiru when I easily could have played around it. My theory with this deck was, hey, okay, we go second, we OTK, we summon less, so in theory we should have gotten Nibiru less. Before this, I've only gotten Nibiru like once, and at my locals I got Nibiru I think 4 times in a 5-round local. And I'll show you the deck and I'll explain my theory. I'm going to change the deck a little bit. I have changed the deck a little bit. I'm just going to show you the deck that I literally played at my local. So we got 2 Megalo. If you're playing a go, I feel like you got to play at least 2 now. In the past, people played 1. If you're playing a going second OTK variant, you want to play 2. This is the card that enables you to OTK really easily. You can attack twice. It does so much damage. 3 Teus, the best Mermail, honestly, because it searches. You get the discard. I wish that there were more 1-card discard Mermails, but there just aren't. Teus is the only one. Because there's sometimes you want to discard like a Dragoons or something, but you can't because you don't have Teus, and it gets a little bit tricky. And then we have 1 Gund, 1 Mander, still playing VFD. VFD is very strong. And then for the Atlanteans over here, of course, got Triple Neptibus, honestly the best card in the deck. Neptibus is what makes the deck still work. It just enables so much. This can be a 1-card OTK, and it's just really easy. This plus any water can do a lot. This plus Dragoons in hand can do a lot of crazy things. I'll show a combo at the end, like how to do a pretty decent going first 4 summon board to get under Nibiru if you're forced to go first or if you decide to go first. And you need this card. Basically, this is the card needed for most of your combos. 1 Diva to get the Neptibus, even though Diva always gets... I hate summoning Diva unless I know it's going to resolve or have a backup plan. And that's one of the issues with not playing an Orcust variant, at least the old Orcust variant before Mermaid got banned, is, summoning Diva in that variant was so much safer, because if it got hand trapped, you could get something else out and you can just Orcust combo. But with this variant, like, if you need this to resolve and it gets Ash, that's just... it's a good card, but, like, if this gets Ash, you pretty much lose. If this gets Ash, you're okay. That's kind of what I'm going at. 3 Dragoons, of course, and then 2 of the infantry. So this was all I was playing at the locals. I did sometimes miss another Atlantean. I feel like whenever I just play 2 infantries and not like a marksman or a 3rd infantry, I run out of Atlanteans a little bit. But, this worked. The Atlanteans are very, very strong. This going second, oh my god. Like, Mermail's a deck, right, where it's kind of designed to go second. You look at the cards, you look at Megalo. Megalo attacks twice. You can't attack on your first turn, so obviously, you want to go second in OTK. You have infantry and marksman to pop cards, and it's just a deck that, it kind of fits the whole going second vibe. You get the extra card too, which is nice because Mermail's discard. And, I kind of try to play this deck to its strength. At least I believe its strength is OTKing. Instead of doing what I've done in the past, was just try to put up negates, which is not what this deck was designed to do, per se. And, I think this might be the way to go, unless the Marinthus cards are really good. We'll see. I'll make a Marinthus variant whenever I get the cards next week, when the set release comes out, whatever. So next up, so we have 1 Marksman and 3 of the 10 Water. So this at locals was Swap Frog and Ronin. Swap Frog and Ronin are good cards. They're really good generic water cards, and I feel like they're not that great in a Mermail deck. They're not bad, don't get me wrong, but I feel like a lot of people see them and they go, oh, frogs, they're a good generic water. Let's put them in a Mermail deck, because, Mermail is pretty much just good generic water deck at this point. But the issue with the frogs is, like, when you discard for Swap Frog, it doesn't trigger Dragoons, and I just feel like it requires too much of a resource commitment to get a frog, because you gotta normal summon this, send a frog, bounce it, discard a water, special, send another frog, and then overlay for us, whatchamacallit, totally awesome. And I just feel like it was an unneeded extender at a lot of times. I just did not need it. Sure, you can summon off Coral and Enemy, and that's cute. But I just felt like it was better to play the level 4 extenders, so I can go to Bahamut Shark, And then just a marksman because I missed having another Atlantean, and marksman caught back row, which is really nice. Especially going forward with Sky Strikers, only having one Widow Anchor. You pop that Widow Anchor and you can pretty much go off, because their only other form of like interaction would be like there can only be one, which I was able to play around. I played against a True Circle player and they had there can only be one. And you know, this deck can play around a little bit. You just gotta be smart with what you do. And you can't just herp a bunch of monsters. One Lapis Dragon, get an extra body on board. This comes up a lot. This is really, really nice off the Dragoons. I like it a lot. I don't think I would cut it. I don't play any synchros, but you know, it's still pretty good. There's a lot of times where I went for it to go for a link play to get a 5th water for Moulin. Really good card. 3 of the Undyne, 1 of the Controller. So I actually had my Undyne get Ash twice in the same game, which was like the best thing ever. You'd never want to Ash this card. On summon, send a water, search for Janus Controller. Send the water as cost. Everybody knows that. You don't really care about the controller. The controller is a brick. Another issue with this deck, I'm not playing Sekis. I might go to the Sekis variant for some testing because, you know, this is just a hard brick into this variant. In the past, you know, when you play like Link Spider and stuff and Christian Rosenix, this wasn't as much of a brick because you can summon it off Rosenix and it was like an extender almost. Really good card. If you play Synchros, it was pretty good. In this deck, it's just kind of a brick. But you kind of need to play it because your only good normal summon is Neptibus. And you need more good normal summons. Undyne is just a worse Neptibus, honestly. And, you know, it gets you there. Sometimes, like the typical combos are something like Teus Dragoons or Teus Neptibus. And if you have Teus Undyne and an extender, you can do, like, the same thing, which is kind of good. Undyne, it's just... I wish you didn't have to add the Janus Control. Sure, everybody did, but... You just got to. You just got to. 1 Moulin, very good card. If I go first, I'm summoning Moulin. You have to. It's just so good. And then for the going second stuff. So, 2 Gamma Seal. It's a water and it helps you going second really good. You can discard it if you don't need it. It's a level 8, which is actually kind of relevant. It could be relevant, but you know, that's kind of good. And then 2 Nibiru. So I main deck 2 Nibiru. I was going to play 3, but I decided to play 2 because it's not good every matchup. And 3 kind of clogged. And I have the 2 Gamma Seal, which, you know, do a similar purpose. And, you know, they worked out really nice. I did Nibiru people. I Nibiru'd a couple of times. I sat it out a lot, but it was still really good to have. And also another good thing I liked about the whole going second variant is it allowed me to side a lot better. In the past, I would have trouble siding. I didn't know what to side out exactly because I want to go first. Now, like, you know, I have cards to side in if I'm going first, cards to side if I'm going second. If I'm playing Sky Striker, I'm going to side this out. You know, if I feel like I don't need Gamma Seal, I'm going to side this out. Also playing Hand Traps. So I'm playing 1 Veiler, 2 Ash. It would be 3 Ash. I just don't have a 3rd Ash. I actually never drew the Veiler, though. So it worked out. I drew the Ashes every time. And Ash is really, really good. Best hand trap right now, honestly. Especially with Mermaid gone. I feel like this is the best hand trap. Because in the past, like, Veiler was really good to hit Mermaid. But, like, now when you think about it, right? You can Ash Shizuku. You can't really Veiler Shizuku if they do the end phase shenanigans. And I just feel like Ash all around was just a little bit better now. In the past, I was a big advocate for Veiler. I thought Veiler, like, last format was a little bit better. But now I think it's time to get that time to get that 3rd Ash, finally. And then for the spells... 1 for 1 to get your Neptibus. Discard a card, pretty good. 3 Call by the Grave. Some people don't like Call by the Grave into going second deck, and I understand why. But I decided to play it because, you know, this card doesn't just stop hand traps. This card has a lot of applications for a lot of other matchups. It's just a really good card. And if you are forced to go first, it's nice. I have sided out a bit against decks that don't play hand traps, but all in all, like, I just really like having this card. And then I'm playing the 1 Abyss Scale, which gets you an extra negate, helps Mermail OTK a bit easier because it's more attack, which is really nice. And in theory, negates Super Poly. Because if you have this on board, and they activate Super Poly, this negates it because it's not an activated effect, you don't respond to it, it's just a continuous thing. That actually happened. It stopped the Super Poly, which is nice. And then 2 Instant Fusions. Instant Fusion is an insanely versatile card. You get your rank 4 to make Bahamut Shark or Abyss Dweller. You can get Thousand Eyes to be like a pseudo mind control. Lots of applications this card has, and I really like it. Kind of want to play 3. But, you know, similar situation to Nibiru where you don't want to open multiple. Yeah, that was the main deck. Would consider playing Sekis. Would definitely consider playing Sekis because if you look at my spell trap, or my spell count, it's, you know, really light. You know, I don't really know if it's worth losing the negate and losing the instant fusion application. And then the 1 for 1 consistency, but we'll see. So for the extra deck, which there are changes, I'll show you the changes I'm going to make after. The Mermail Link and Star Boy. Typical first turn board, you end on this. With an infantry in hand if you can, which acts as a pseudo ghost ogre. Starboy helps OTK. This boosts everything, not just what it points to. Link Rebo. Link Rebo was needed more and more. Like, I was going to play it, but the thing with Link Rebo is it's the easiest way to get VFD, because if you have Undyne, or excuse me, if you have Abystius and Neptibus, you can just make Linkrevo pointing down to summon your VFD. That's like the most basic VFD combo if you have Neptibus and Teus. One of the reasons why I'm playing also playing Thousand Eyes as an instant fusion target. This just goes into a Link 1 because I need a way to get rid of Thousand Eyes and point down. If you need a like mid to late game, you can just like Neptibus go into this. Like summon Neptibus, send infantry, pop a card, summon this. This I actually summoned this a lot, so I'm glad I played it again because I love Linkrevo. One Phoenix, one Cerberus. Playing Cerberus because the Nibiru token you can pop it with it. We'll be playing Unicorn elsewhere, but I just feel like you kind of need to play the Cerberus because of that. Going forward, I might squeeze Unicorn in, and you'll see why once I explain the changes. One Coral Anemone, so this comes up a little bit. You can bring back your Neptibus. You can summon Undyne, send Neptibus, bring it back. The only issue with this card is, it helps you make boards a little bit easier if you have like awkward hands, but it pushes you over 5 summons. So you gotta be careful with this card. You can't go too willy-nilly because Nibiru is a thing. Otherwise, it's a fantastic card. Everybody knows that. One Borreload. This is more important than Borrelsword in this deck, I believe, because this deck does not have a problem with decaying, but has a problem with random monsters. Borreload gets rid of random monsters. Then for the Exceeds, still playing Toad, even though I'm cutting the Frogs, because I'm going to play Bahamut Shark, so Toad's still there. Dweller. Dweller's kind of hard to summon, but I feel like it's just too good to not play, because it's pretty much auto-winning against Orcust. And you can bring it out if you have... Well, now it's easier to bring it because I have the Tenyi, which is nice. But you can bring it out with, like, Neptibus and discarding... discarding Neptibus and then summoning back a Dragoons, and like there's ways to get it out. It's just a little bit awkward. One Abyss Gaios for like the generic negate, and then the one Tricking of All Calamities. Really good card. And then we have the instant fusion targets. So I'm playing the 1,000 Eyes, one of the best instant fusion targets. Just eat up a monster, really strong. One Mud Dragon, level 4 water. That's why I'm playing it. It also could like stop targeting in a way, so you can stop like Veil or stuff like that. Really good card. I like it a lot. Super Poly target. So I am debating deciding Super Poly instead of like Starving Venom or something. And then the last 2 cards, which I have since cut. Winda and Dingirsu. You guys are like, see, what are you doing? Why are you playing Winda and Dingirsu? So one of the reasons why I really like Orcust is you can make like a really crazy board if you have instant fusion of Dingirsu Winda. You summon Winda off instant fusion, Dingirsu protects it at the end phase. And then your opponent can't special summon basically. Or your opponent's, stunned. That's one of the reasons why... That's like the only reason why I considered playing a really heavy Orcust engine in this deck. Like 3 Harp, and then just playing like Neptibus and stuff like that. But, after the ban list came out and stuff like that, I figured, let's just try this. Also, my list is for the new ban list, but at locals, it was the old ban list. Although I don't think I played any, like... I played an Orcust player, but he wasn't playing Mermaid. So, yeah. Pretty much it was new list, almost. I never summoned these. This only comes up if you have Teus plus a way to get the Neptibus and an instant fusion, which is a little bit clunky, which is why I want to play 3rd instant fusion. I decided to cut them. They never came up. Dingirsu could stay, honestly, because you could summon this pretty easily as a non-target removal with Abyss Mander, but I just feel like most situations it's better to summon Tricking of All Calamities. I don't know. I decided to cut them, and the cards that I'm cutting them for are going to be the Bahamut Shark, so you can get out the Toad. Really good card. And it's also easier to summon because we have the Tenyis now. And a generic Link 2. Now, the generic Link 2 I'm playing right now is Lenfalinkus. This will be IP something. It's in the new set. It's going to be an ultra rare. It's a Link 2 that has the same arrows. Generic Link 2. What that card does is you can Link summon with it and monsters you control on your opponent's turn. Which, like, I think that makes it the best generic Link 2, better than Beat Cop, better than Lambda, unless you're playing Psyframes. I guess Lambda's better. But the thing is, what you could do is you could have this, right? This is the new Link 2. Any monster, and then you can go into Unicorn or Cerberus or Phoenix. Like, that's really good. That's why I want to play Unicorn, potentially, because of that. So, yeah, definitely want to put that in. I mean, just a generic Link 2. I needed it for instant fusion, because I feel like there's situations where, like, I wanted to instant fusion, get 2 arrows, but, like, I didn't have anything to summon, because, my generic Link 2s are waters, and I would use Thousand Eyes, which is a water. So, yeah, that's the main deck. I will show the side deck, which I don't usually show, but I think the side deck's kind of important when you go second, because it's just a different dynamic. So, excuse me as I'm burping all over the place. Get my cards out of the way. So, oh, here are my frogs. That's where they were. I couldn't find them. So that's where they were. So, side deck. 3 Pankratops. This card, just generically good side deck card. You go second, you against random stuff, side it in. Really good. Lancia for Orcust. Standard. 2 twins for a lot of random decks. This is good siding going first, good siding going second. Sided in a couple times against Altergeist. It put in a lot of work. 3 red reboot. Love this card. Really, really like this card. Good against Subterra, good against Altergeist. Going second just enables you to OTK so much easier. I played against an Altergeist player and they just set 5 pass and I just rebooted. And I still lost, but you know, that felt good. So, yeah. And then I'm playing. So this is supposed to be 3 Get Out. I didn't have a third, so I had a Cosmic in there randomly. So Get Out is a weird card. Also, I'm playing 1 Imperial Order because, you know why. So the thing with Get Out is, if you know what it does, basically when your opponent has basically you flip it, return 2 monsters your opponent controls that are special from the extra deck back to the hand. So in theory, like if you go first, you just set this, and against like Orcust, against a lot of decks or something from the extra deck, it's really good. I think it's a pretty good card. Like I definitely want to get a third and try out playing Fury because like there's situations where you want to go first and side out, say like Nibiru or something. Or side out your hand traps. There's, with this deck, there's a lot of things you want to side out for certain matchups. And I just feel like this was like one of the better cards to side in going first. Because like, what else could I side in going first that's like generically good against a lot of matchups? This was good. I sided against Altergeist and it worked. I sided this in against Orcust. I never drew it against Orcust, but like it's a good card that I definitely wanna experiment more with. Will I end up being playing it forever? Will I end up cutting it? I don't know, but it's definitely worth testing for now. So, yeah, that is the deck for now. I'm going to play a very similar list, most likely the next time I go to my locals. I won't be able to go to my locals for like a week or 2, though, because, locals on Saturday, I got to be somewhere Saturday. You know how that works. So, yeah, we'll see how this goes. I don't know if I'm going to play this. I'm going to try to play this variant event, unless I get the Marincess cards. Then I'll try Marincess variant. But, yeah, that's the deck. That's the Mermail deck going second. Let me know in the comments what you think. I think this is one of the better ways to play it for the new format. Still want to test how Marincess is. The Orcust variant's dead. I thought that was the best format last format, but that's dead. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. See you all next time, and